No, you're fully focused. You're totally absorbed in samadhi. You just try to do your service as good as possible. That's the meditation. That's pleasing to Krishna. Sometimes there may be a gap, so you chant, you know, like that. I see other devotees, I get enlivened. Oh, there's devotees here. It's just so nice to see another devotee distributing books. I just feel happy when I see another devotee chanting, distributing, whatever. One time I was transiting through Moscow airport, and I just saw in the airport far away, I saw one girl walking with a chocolate bead, with a bead bag through the airport. I couldn't reach or talk. I just saw her at the other part of the airport walking. I just felt happy. Oh, there's a devotee of Krishna. That's great, you know. It's wonderful. Like that. So just be in a positive mindset and learn how to focus. So you won't miss a beat. You just, after a while, it becomes like solid interaction all throughout. Yes? You were first. You had a point.
No, I wait.
Okay.
Prabhupada said we need to train up the mind. So book distribution, like you say now, is focusing on every beat and like that. But isn't book distribution also a very good way to stay in the now, train the mind?
Yes, definitely. When it comes to chanting, you realize that the quality of your chanting is directly influencing the quality of your book distribution. Yes?
Well, my question is about the follow-up, because some of these young bhaktas, they go out on book distribution, and I get sometimes 5-10 names of young girls they met, and who have been very interested while they were talking, and also many times they...
What were they interested in? In the young devotee who was distributing to them, or in Krishna consciousness?
Well, I don't know, because when I call, they are generally, I get like some kind of connection, but it's a new person, so...
Okay, so as a first rule of thumb, the person who took the contact should be the one who does the follow-up in the beginning. So if you took the name, you should call them. If he took the name, he should call them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I met this guy, and now this lady is calling me about what? And, you know, so... You understand? So first contact, second contact, third contact. This is done by the same person. Then if somebody is already like familiar, and you might be a full-time traveling preacher, you don't have the time, like I move a lot, I just hand the contacts to the local temple. But then I tell them, such and such will contact you, you get in touch with this person, and that they're okay with that. Otherwise it's like, whoa, you know, because I told you so many things on the street, and now this other person all of a sudden comes, and maybe he told all those things to that person, you know. So, you know how people are, they get paranoid. So it has to be clear how it works.
Because our experience is also like if they invite after they call and then invite the person to the temple and then introduce me to this
That's
girl,
much better.
then it works.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah, so do it like that. Do it like that.
But what is it then sometimes in the temple, then some girls can also say, why can I not talk with him now? You know, I talk with the monk half an hour on the street.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Maybe the monk should not speak a half an hour with the young girl on the street, but it's enough to speak 5-7 minutes like that. Give the book, take the contact. That should be enough for the most part. I don't think that half-hour interactions on the street are required from my experience. Very rarely somebody is exceptionally serious about Krishna consciousness. Like I was in Jagannath Puri on the beach, and I was walking on the road, and there was one Western guy on his bicycle, and he's coming against me, and I just saw on his bag, it was written in German something, so I talked to him in German. I just caught him on the corner of my eye. I saw this bag, and I just spoke German, and he stopped his bike, and he like, you speak German? You know, and he came, and we had a thing, and turns out, he's super interested. He gave me 500 rupees for 3 small books. He says, can I invite you for lunch? And I'm like, not really, but we can sit on the beach and we talk. So I just went with him, we sat on the beach, and he was really interested in Krishna consciousness. His parents had a Shivananda center in Austria, in Innsbruck. And his father worked for Mother Teresa 40 years ago as a volunteer. He's a doctor, medical doctor in Calcutta. So he already had some experiences in his upbringing. He's very interested in Krishna consciousness. So, and then, after the talk, I said, you know what? I will invite you for lunch. So I took him to the program straight. I picked him up straight from the street, and I walked with him all the way to the ashram where we were staying in Jagannath Puri. There was the program with Damodar Swami and Jayaveda Swami in middle of January, this retreat, and Madhavananda Prabhu, and it was the last day. So he experienced Kirtan, Katha, big Mahaprasad feast, and it was like, whoa! All his lights went on. And I took his contact and I rode with him. And then I told him I'm going to Kumbh Mela, and he said he's going through Varanasi. I said, you know what, you should come to Kumbh Mela, and you meet me there. And even though we didn't hook up at the airport, but he came to the camp, and he stayed for a few days and did seva, and got into chanting and everything. So if we put in a little effort just to keep that personal contact, it really can make a big difference, big impact in people's lives. But the boy thing, we have to be conscientious of our limitations, of our shortcomings, and of the dangers, and not, not overestimate ourselves. Even though the person may be interested, but they may have other motives, or the devotee may have slightly confused motives. So we should be clear about our intentions. And you can explain to them that, he's a monk and they're doing this like that on the street, but here there's a monastery, so the monks are kind of off limits. You can explain that to the person in a nice way. But if the person is here because they're interested in Krishna consciousness, they should not be disturbed. Now a lady is talking to them, because you can explain to them about Krishna consciousness. And if they're just here because they're interested in that guy, then maybe you have to break the news to them that it's not the way how things work around here. But sometimes they may have gotten the wrong impression, on the street. So we have to make sure we don't give people the wrong sort of impressions.
No, it's just how to make this, connection from one person to the other.
Sure.
More smooth.
Yeah, so usually the best thing is if he tells the girl, like the girl comes here, and he tells the girl, look, I'm kind of busy, I do many things, but we have this person who's in charge of guest relations, and she takes care of the guests, and she's a real nice girl, would you like to meet her and talk to her? And then she goes, yes. But if the girl shows up here and then you say, okay, I'm in charge here, the boys are off limits, then it won't be appreciated. So it just has to be done in a nice, intelligent way. But we have to know how to protect each other. Same thing for the ladies, There may be guys who come here just because they're interested in you and not in Krishna consciousness. So you have to be aware of that. It's a possible scenario in the material world. And we should not play with fire, or else you will be burned. Yes?
You are brahmachari?
Huh?
You are brahmachari?
Me?
Didn't you?
I'm a vanaprastha.
Okay. So you've been through Grihastha ashram?
Yes, you could say so.
I was just, wondering for good advice not to get involved with Grihastha ashram. You were just talking about like avoiding?
No, I was saying you should avoid the boy-girl thing or the girl-boy thing. That's not what Grihastha ashram is, you know.
No, of course not.
So you have to be aware of these facts, and hopefully you will get educated in these highly esoteric subject matters here in your bhakti training, in your formation of Krishna consciousness. It's important that we learn how to lead a life in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Any other points? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I've seen you before, but I don't remember where. Russia? Which place? Poland. Okay. Awesome. Any other questions or topics? So, Sankirtana Festival. Somebody needs to organize it. Somebody needs to take initiative and say, okay, like you can do twice a month in Copenhagen, right? And you can do some other towns around Copenhagen. Possible. So once a month, once a week, it's possible. So just organize it, inform the people, and after a while it becomes an institution. It becomes something. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Thanks for coming. So after a while it just becomes a regular thing. Like I know in many temples they just go, like London, they go Saturday night party. Everybody just knows it's an institution. Just like, you can be for sure, come hell or high water, the guys are out there. They also go out throughout the week, but on Saturday night it's full on everybody. Like that. Word will spread around. But it takes somebody to take the initiative and to actually make it happen. So you have so many people who are good at organization and good at getting things done. So find somebody who can take this leading role in getting this Sankirtan festival established.
You do, but I remember Vaisheshika, when he mentored, he presented it. There's a follow-up in the temple.
Yes.
Maybe some prasadam.
Yes.
Just to sum up. And
like we had yesterday, it was perfect. We had our experience, then we came back, we had a little pizza party here. It was sweet, it was nice. Now today we have the kata, like a little debrief. How did it go? What could we improve? Talk a little strategy, some positive experiences. I met a lot of super positive people who really liked us, you know. And I'm sure maybe some of you would like to share some positive or whatever experiences you had from yesterday, people that you met.
Well, there was this one drunkard who was very aggressive towards the...
Not just one, there was a few of them.
There was a whole gang of them. But there was they had their representative.
Yeah,
and he was
their
quite,
spokesman.
Yeah.
He was quite
aggressive.
good at his job.
Yes. But I noticed that as the Harinam went on, he became, in the end at least, he became quite soft. He came up, made a few jokes, slapped the devotees on the back, said, "Oh, finally you're going," you know, like...
He mellowed out.
Yeah, and I was thinking that's sort of the power of the Harinam. It sort of softened him up.
Combined with the power of vodka.
I guess.
Any other experiences from yesterday? Thank you.
Yeah, four or five people told me that they liked the halwa and it tasted like marzipan and
Good.
they were happy. One of them also said that it's a little too much, you know, I cannot take 3 at a time. It took a couple of them maybe said like that.
So don't think in terms of how much I would eat, you know? Like, because devotees have a slightly different appetite than the people on the street. They may just have had lunch or something else, so they, you know, just a little taste. Any experiences?
Bus stop.
Okay.
Like yesterday. But we had the experience in... actually, many times I had the experience when we do the Harinam. We just did it for the national holiday in Norway. And the days that we do it here, that might be a little tough to break through the ice on the walking street, but as soon as the Hainan party comes, everybody joins in, everybody wants a piece of the cake. And especially in Norway, we had like big Hainan group, 20 devotees. So anyone approaching, they had to like go around the Hainan party.
He got affected.
And then, yeah, and there was like 3, 4, 5 devotees selling and distributing books, handing out invitations. Very powerful combination, very powerful combination.
I love it so much. I mean, if we have the chance to do this, I would do this every day of the week. Because people just can't avoid us. It's just too good. It's just too nice. And it makes your job as a book distributor 5 times easier. Yes.
I was just at Dennis Prabhu. He gave there was a conference on a Copenhagen Business School 2 weeks ago, and 450 people came to hear a lecture on this business school about gift economy and sacred economy and spiritual economy. And so there were 450 young people there, and there were 8 organizers amongst them. And the next day we had a follow-up on what is this spiritual economics, and Dennis Prabhu was explaining to these young people that how they want to live a life without money, and just give each other a gift. And then after this workshop, we took them all to the Harinam on the walking street, 50 meters down the street. And I just saw now on YouTube that many of these young people, they have put up their Janardana's bhajan with the Hare Krishna mantra, and they have put up so many pictures of each other taking prasadam and like this. So for them,
wonderful.
this becomes like a part of the gift economy.
Yeah, wonderful. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is potency. So now you're following up on the following up?
Yes.
Okay, good. You had another point? Your experiences?
Just wanted to confirm what you said, that a lot of people, they have just had lunch like that, so they don't want the full package, you know.
Yeah.
So it could be good with like a small one.
Okay. Other points? Other experiences?
I guess smaller quantities given out also gives for more handouts.
Yeah.
What do you think about Radhanath's money? He said once to us that the theater would be very nice. Is that too much?
Depends whether it's suitable, you know, like there's not that many people around, so
Right.
if you do theater, if you're like, maybe if you have people who are exceptionally talented and they can do this avant-garde type of style right in the street, right there, you know, like you do Harinam and then you break into a theater skit and then you go back to Harinam, it would be very powerful. But otherwise it's kind of corny and not so, like yesterday that place, if you would have done a drama there and there's 3 people looking, I think the holy name is the main thing and the books and the prashadam. But theater can be used, but we have to know which way. I have seen too many bad theaters from the bodies who are really bad. So better no theater than bad drama. Like that. Or if somebody knows how to do it, then it can be powerful. It can be powerful.
Sorry. One year on the Ratha Yatra, Parshuram brought this Chinese dragon. Remember? That was so attractive. This Chinese dragon, you know, dancing in front of the Harinam, and everyone was like, wow.
Sure.
Some ladies dancing in front of the Harinam with the dragon.
Yeah.
Very attractive.
Yeah, there's many things you can do.
Or sometimes when we, like when the kids, like really small kids, like 2-year-olds, they stand, we do the Harinam, and they join in, and they're just standing there, and it happens now and then, that the small kids, they just come there and they kind of rock their back and forth. So that's so attractive for people,
Yeah.
Like the kid yesterday speaking about vegetarianism on YouTube.
Yeah.
So attractive for. So people there, they can be, if we're normal, if we're not too spaced out, if we're not too tense, but we're just happy doing what we're doing, we don't have to do so much. We don't have to do.
No, just be normal. And give people the invitation card to the temple and also to the restaurant, because some people may be ready for the temple and most people are more ready for restaurant. And let them get more positive experiences. They need more positive interaction with the bodies to build up their confidence that yes, this is good, these are good people. And then they come to the point where they will actually start asking questions and be inquisitive. But first you need an initial faith that yes, this is actually good. This is good for you. Other points?
It's just a little commentary. If you have that initial faith in some person, like I met in Ireland on the street, and I never really, the concept of God was always something that I'd been kind of like rejecting, not really wanted to, maybe accept, you could say. But when it came through him, because he was the person that I trusted, I bought the whole idea and yes, of course it's God. And
But did he push the concept of God right in the first encounter with you?
No, I think we just spoke about reincarnation and the process that what is about, and not really so much about God as far as I remember.
So that's another point. Thank you for sharing that. It's part of being non-intrusive to not really push issues or agendas with people if they feel that you're opinionated or you're on an agenda, even if it's the vegetarian agenda or the reincarnation or any type of agenda. Because we're out there to serve, we're out there to help the people, so we should have enough tact and sensitivity to find out what it is that they're interested in, and not just what we're concerned about. Like, I will tell you a little something about this and this right now, but to be more in a service-oriented mood. What can we do today to make your life a little better, a little happier, a little more joyful experience? And people are like, hey, yeah, I like that. Like I had this on this TV and radio interviews now in Africa. And many times the interviewers were like Christians, sometimes even fanatical Christians. And they tried to somehow get a grip and catch you, on something. So I just made the point that, look, if I would ask you today, would you like to convert or would you like to be converted? And they all, no. I said, so you see? But if I asked you, would you like to be inspired? Would you like to be enthused? Would you like to be motivated to become better at what you want to do? Then they all said, yes, I would like to do that. So we want to add something to people's lives. And we're not out there to try to prove to people how they're wrong, or we're right, or we're superior, or what they do is really bad. But we're just out there to add Krishna to their lives. We just want to give them this gift, this highest present of Krishna consciousness. And truly speaking, if it's done in that mood, most people will accept it. Most people will appreciate it. So, and we can see how Srila Prabhupada, he was really non-sectarian and he was non-judgmental. Otherwise he could not have established the Krishna consciousness movement, because the mood which was prevalent in the 60s in America at that time was very, very specific, very special. So in the same way here, we have to figure out what's the mindset, what's the psychology of the people, and what they can actually appreciate. And then we relate to them in that way. That's why it says time, place, circumstance. certain things that you do in India won't really be appreciated so much here in Denmark, and vice versa, because it's different place, different culture, different ballgame. So we have to know that and be aware of that, and then we can deal with people in a way that they like to be dealt with. Basically, it means it's not on my terms. I'm just here to help. I'm not here with an agenda besides that. And that means to have faith in the Holy Name, to have faith in Krishna. That Krishna is God, and He is the all-attractive, and He is the supreme person who can make everybody's life more joyful and more happy and more complete. So we're not trying to get people attached or attracted to ourselves, get them hooked on us. Otherwise you will be stuck with all the trouble that you have called upon yourself. But we just try to bring people closer to Krishna. Then you can connect unlimited people with Krishna, and you will not become negatively affected by that process. So please try to organize and sustain your enthusiasm for Sankirtana, for outreach, creating this environment where all kinds of people, even brand new people, they come here and they say, what are you doing? Well, we go out and we chant and dance, just come with us. Would you like to join us? I've seen many times these brand new people who just come out and do Harna. Oh, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. They just pick up some books and they go up to people and like that. And they have great experience. They have great realization.
And just something that just came back to me. You asked earlier about if we had any nice experiences yesterday.
Yes.
I overheard how some person who was talking to Pinada said, "Oh, you people are everywhere." So it's very, very nice.
Compliment.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Mahababi, what's the conclusion? Tell us.
I didn't hear that question.
Doesn't matter. Just give us your mantra. What's the conclusion?
Stay on.
Stay on. Very good. Thank you.
That's good.
That's good. Stay on.
But we tend to lose the power also from going on Sankirtana if we don't do it enough. And if we come back here, and we will lose the kind of spirit, and then it's difficult to get into again. You lose the contact to yourself when you're not on the street, when you're not all the time like that.
Yeah, the art is to have the Sankirtan spirit even when you're in the temple, even when you're doing other things, even when you visit your family or your friends. To be in that Sankirtan spirit. How can I give Krishna? Not looking the world through the glasses of sense gratification. Oh, I like this, I don't like that, I could enjoy this, That's a miserable life. That's the life of scarcity, of a beggar. I want. But if you have the eyes of the Sankirtan devotees, you just want to give Krishna. You just see the opportunities where you can give Krishna consciousness. And it's very attractive. It's like Prabhupada, the pure devotee, is very attractive. Why? Because he is so much in union with Krishna, with God, and he wants to share God's love so powerfully that he becomes very attractive. Because people feel that this person really wants me to be happy. This person really wants me to succeed. This person is really inspiring me. That's real Sankirtan. That's not just talking and doing stuff. It's where people will come over from the other side of the street and like, hey,